ABC News.
Crossroads of the West Gun Show returns this Friday and Saturday to the Cache County Event Center at the Fairgrounds. It's America's premier gun show with great deals on guns, ammo, scopes, accessories, and more. Solid wholesale prices, plus jewelry, gift ideas, and door prizes.
We'll scour through, find the best bargain, come back and buy it.
Crossroads of the West Gun Show this Friday and Saturday at the Cache County Event Center at the Fairgrounds. All sales are conducted in compliance with applicable laws. You can buy, sell, and trade at all Crossroads gun shows.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. Our biggest sale of the year is today until 6 p.m. You've heard about it, so don't miss it. Black Friday pricing now. Plus, when you buy more, you save more. Up to a $500 instant rebate on select purchases. Wait, there's more. Triple dip in savings with an additional Daryl's exclusive mail-in rebate. Save up to $800 more on select purchases. It's today only until 6 p.m. Daryl's 52nd annual fall sale. Financing available. Come experience the Daryl's difference with our famous service team. Daryl's West on Airport Road.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
Well, quite a way to finish off the season of the KVNU Garden Guide with Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden as we turn up your volume there for you, Mark. And Mother Nature is obviously saying it's time to transition to winter.
It is time. It is time. And, 1st of November, it's supposed to be cold. We're supposed to get some storms, and can't beat the weather. I mean, it's been great. I've been able to get outside and get a lot of stuff done. But also, we've been able to accumulate a little snow in the mountains and a little rain down here. So can't beat it.
Saw Brian Head down in southern Utah opened, earliest it's ever opened.
Yes.
In the resort history. And, of course, we'll be looking forward to Beaver Mountain and Cherry Peak opening.
Yeah.
They've still got probably a month or so. We'll kind of watch for that. And so, winter's going to be here quick.
And anytime Beaver can open before Christmas is bonus time. Yeah. So if we keep getting storms like this, and we've got another one lined up for next week, so, bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yep. Looking forward to it.
We'll take it.
As much as we love being in the garden and doing the yard work, there comes a time we have to transition to do something else.
It's winding down. Hopefully you've got your apples all harvested and your squash are all in and put away, and onions and potatoes. It's just, it's time to have that harvest all brought in and ready to go for the wintertime.
All of our green tomatoes all decided to ripen at once, Tuesday and Wednesday, and so we were making spaghetti sauce like crazy in our house.
That's awesome. That's the way it ought to be. So some great things happening at Anderson's this week and through the month. We've got the rest of our tulip and daffodil bulbs. They are 40% off, so we're kind of running low on fall planted bulbs, but all of our bulbs are 40% off, so if you want to come in and take advantage of that, looks like we've got some weather to still get some things planted before winter really sets in and the ground freezes. So fall bulbs, 40% off. We've got some gorgeous fall wreaths still after Halloween. Would be a great time to put those out before Thanksgiving. And all of our fall wreaths are 50% off right now. So we've got some good deals going on wreaths and bulbs. And then this week we started our White Christmas giveaway. And so if you're not familiar with our White Christmas kind of promotion, if you come in and spend $500 or more on Christmas decor, say you come in and buy a Christmas tree and some ornaments to go on it, and it totals $500, we will enter you into our White Christmas giveaway. And what happens is if we get 4 inches of snow on Christmas Day, here in downtown Logan at Anderson's is where the storm is tracked. If we get 4 inches of snow, we'll give you a refund on your purchase.
The whole purchase?
The whole purchase, yeah, the whole purchase. And so that goes until, actually we've got about 50 people that can sign up. So it will stop when we hit 50 people, or if we hit $40,000. So you got to come in and take advantage of it. I think our cutoff is just like right before Thanksgiving, and so we've had a few people take advantage of it already. But if we get 4 inches of snow between midnight of Christmas Eve and basically 11:59 of Christmas Day, nighttime, so you got a 24-hour period. If we get 4 inches of snow, then we'll refund all those purchases. So.
And is it any purchase? Is there certain items that are excluded in that purchase?
No items are excluded. It just has to be over $500.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be over $500. So if you come in and spend over $500 and we get 4 inches of snow, then you'll get your purchase refunded. But we only have 50 slots, and so all the customers from now until we run out of spaces, we'll give you a card that's got the rules and instructions of the giveaway on there, and we'll attach that to your receipt. You got to keep a hold of your receipt, got to have the card and everything, so we know who everybody is that's like participating. Yeah. But if we get 4 inches of snow, we're going to be giving away $40,000 worth of stuff. So yeah. So it's a fun. It's a really fun promotion. Yeah, it's fun. And last year we got a skiff of snow.
Yeah.
On Christmas, but we didn't get much accumulation. So we're always crossing our fingers. Yeah. We're always crossing our fingers and hoping we're going to get a big snowstorm on Christmas. And it has happened before, but not since we started doing the White Christmas. So.
You've jinxed it or something.
I don't know. Yeah, it's been like 5 years we've been doing it. We still haven't had a big storm yet, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. But
this will be the year. Let's hope for it.
Yep, this will be the year. And this is our last show of the year. Can you believe it?
It's been an incredible season.
It's crazy.
A few things that, I look back over this year and some of the things, of course, we've talked a lot about conserving water and yes. ways to be able to use drip systems to be able to save water but in addition to that, we also had some unique circumstances this year with grasshoppers because of NOLO bait that wasn't available, and so we were coming up with alternatives of how to get rid of the grasshoppers. And then we had a lot of mosquitoes and so it seems like every year there's
every year's a little bit different.
Yeah,
we have different situation, different circumstances, different bugs, different diseases that show up, and so it's always a mixed bag. You never know what you're going to get. But fortunately, we had some really great harvest out of the gardens. We had some really gorgeous flower beds, and lots of flowers. And it seems like the plants, despite the heat, all produced really very, very well. Yeah, very well. And didn't hurt for us here in the north to have a wetter spring. I mean, we had a fairly wet March, April, and May, and so we were fortunate compared to other parts of the state, and parts south of here really struggled with water. But we were fortunate that we had excess when the time came down to it. But it would be nice to have mountains full of snow this year.
Yeah.
It just makes everything a lot easier for everyone, and we can continue to do more conservation and use less water and be more effective with our watering. But it would be nice to have some surplus. Yeah, some surplus for sure. So we've got phone lines open. We'd love to have you call in with questions or comments for our last show of the season here on the Garden Guide. Phone numbers are 753-5868-753 KVNU or 1-800-369-5868. So have you got your lawn winterized yet?
That was actually the question that I wanted to start us off with, is because we've talked about how there's this kind of window where you want to put down that last fertilizer just before the snow comes. And for myself, the last 2 weeks, it's been getting the sprinklers shut off, getting those cleared out, getting the hoses wrapped up. And I'm kind of watching it and thinking, okay, I'm getting close, but I want to wait maybe a couple more weeks, I'm thinking.
I think we're going to get some snow, but it's going to melt off.
Yeah.
And we're going to get some rain. Obviously, we're getting rain right now. But I think we've got a little nice weather coming after that. And it's nice if you can wait and push that as late as possible. I've had people that came in like 3 weeks ago, and they were like dusting their hands off and saying, I'm done for this year. It's like I mowed my last mow, and I put my fertilizer on. It's like, that's just a little bit too early, because that grass is going to continue to grow, and you'll see that grass grow underneath the snow. So I like to wait as late as possible and mow the lawn as close as possible, just like scalp it for the wintertime, and then throw that fertilizer on. put a little vole repellent on if you've had problems with voles in the past as well too. So we want to discourage the voles from coming in and having a party in your lawn all winter long. So mow close, fertilize, and we've got some great fertilizer options right now. So I'd do either like our 16-16-16 fertilizer, or our Fertilome Winterizer is excellent. The Winterizer is just a slow release nitrogen. It's going to break down very gradually over the next 10 to 12 weeks, and just feed that lawn through the entire winter. And as soon as the snow melts off in the spring, it'll just be green and growing underneath there. Humate, great time to throw humate down, especially if you've aerated your lawn. Get a little aeration, fertilizer, humate on there, and your lawn will just look amazing next spring, like it hasn't gone through the ringer this summer.
See, and for us, we've also been dragging our feet too, because we have several trees that just have not lost those leaves yet.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching it thinking, well, I'm going to just hold off on raking the leaves because they're still up in the trees, and I don't want to do it more than 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So,
the leaves have definitely been hanging on this year, and so with the cold weather and with the rain, I think we're gonna see a lot.
Coming down.
So I noticed today it's like, okay, there's a lot more leaves out there in the backyard, but it's wet, so I'm not gonna go gather them up yet. So hopefully it'll dry off enough that we can get those leaves gathered up and get the lawn put to bed for winter time. So.
Now, one thing this year that we really tried to do was focus on keeping the weeds out of the garden.
Yeah.
And we were good up until about a month before, probably about the end of September, maybe mid-September.
Yeah.
It seemed like right about when we started to get some of those early fall storms.
Right.
It just... At that point, it was like, okay,
and the weeds
done.
just went,
took off
crazy. Yeah. For me, it was like mid-August when we had that inch of rain the first part of August, and the weeds just took off like crazy, because I'd had them under control in my garden up to that point. And then we just got that big rainstorm, and then everything germinated. We had weeds galore.
I've just wondered, is it a good idea to maybe throw down maybe like a Killzall or something like that, just to try to knock anything out that's
if we get some warmer weather, that's a possibility. And in the next couple of weeks, we could definitely get a week of 50-degree temperatures, maybe even low 60s, and a spray of either Killzall or Decimate would work excellent. It would do a great job, because both of those will work in cooler temperatures. So they'll work in temperatures as low as 50 degrees for daytime temperature. But if it stays below 50, probably not going to get great results with that, and you're just better off just tilling them up and waiting to see what happens for spring.
Into the spring.
Yeah. The great thing about the Decimate is the Decimate will break down in 24 hours. And so you can spray, you can watch the weeds curl up and start to die, and till them all up after 24 to 48 hours, and it's like completely broken down out of the soil. So if you plant back in that area, it won't affect anything that you plant back in there after 24 to 48 hours. So it has a very short lifespan in the soil, so it's gone very quickly. So it's great on Morning Glory. It works on puncture vine and burr buttercup, and a lot of the really hard to kill broadleaf weeds. It does a better job probably than the Killzall does, and so very effective on broadleaf weeds. Works great on grasses as well too, and it biodegrades really quickly. So I really like using the Decimate. Yeah, okay. in the vegetable garden, because it just biodegrades so quickly out of your soil. You can just plant right back in there.
Okay.
Yeah, and very effective on the weeds, and it works quicker. Works faster than Roundup or Killzall. You see the weeds die quicker, and especially on those hard to kill broadleaf weeds that Roundup just won't touch. I mean, it barely makes Morning Glory look a little sick, and it doesn't quite kill it off. And the Decimate you'll see results in, on a nice 70, 75 degree day, you'll see results in 24 hours. You'll see the stuff dying already. So it's pretty, it's pretty quick.
Great stuff.
It's pretty quick.
But probably maybe wait till spring.
Yeah.
We'll see what the weather's
Let's see what the weather,
like,
I mean, you just never know what Mother Nature is going to throw at us. So we could have some nice, we could have a week or 10 days of really nice weather and be able to do it. And then the ground will freeze, and then all of a sudden we won't be able to do much more. But I mean, it is a great time to prep your garden for next year. So whether you can kill the weeds off, or if you just need to get it cultivated, so it's ready for next year. This is really the time to prep your garden for next year, whether you've got raised beds or whether you're doing your flower beds or a larger vegetable garden. This is the prime time for putting some compost. And I know they've got a lot of compost at the landfill, and which would be great to put in there. Composted manures, leaves, grass clippings, wood shavings. There's a lot of different materials that we can add to our garden to work into the soil. The key is to make sure you're not use too much of any one thing, and then make sure and use a variety of different things. So if you get some compost from the landfill, we got to make sure and balance that with some higher nitrogen. So that's where a composted poultry manure or a composted steer manure would be great. But we're only doing an inch to a half inch of each product that accumulates to maybe 2 or 3 inches total, and then work that in. So some leaves that you've been gathering up, and you can mix that with the grass clippings. So I like to just vacuum up the leaves with the lawnmower instead of raking them all up. So I'll go out there with the lawnmower, and it kind of shreds the leaves up, and then it mows the lawn at the same time, unless there's like a ton of leaves down there, then it makes it really hard to gather them all to gather them all up.
Tried that one year. You even got out the riding lawnmower and trying to go over this mountain of leaves.
Yeah, but it makes a giant mess. But get the leaves out there and get the grass clippings out there. Maybe an inch of compost from the landfill. Maybe a half inch of composted steer manure from the dairy farm down the street. And use a variety of different materials. Zeolite is amazing, especially if you've got heavy clay soils. Add some zeolite. If you have a smaller garden and you just don't want to have to worry about finding a bunch of different things, our soil building conditioner is perfect for working into a smaller garden, because it's got composted poultry manure and bat guano and worm castings and kelp meal, and it's got some shredded and composted bark in with it as well too. So the soil building conditioner would be an excellent way to put an inch or two of a combination type product, and then just work that right into your soil as well too. But adding to your garden in the fall is really the best way, because it will break down over the winter time. A lot of that organic matter will decompose and disintegrate and put all that good nutrition right back into your soil.
Into the soil.
Yeah. And then make sure not to leave it sitting on the surface. Incorporate it.
Yeah.
If you put
just leaving it on the surface, it's not going to do anything.
It's just going to rot over the wintertime, and then you're going to have that rotted mass of leaves or whatever it is in the springtime to have to deal with. So you want to make sure and get that incorporated into the soil this fall, so it'll decompose a lot faster. You'll have beautiful soil next spring.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take some phone calls. We have Joan joining us on the line from Millville. Joan, welcome to the show this morning.
Hi, thank you. I'm just wondering if it's too late to move a climbing rose. It's only been in the ground about 2 seasons, so it's not very big.
Now is a great time to do it, because the ground hasn't frozen yet, and you've got plenty of time to get the root system established before winter really, really sets in. So what I would do is I would prepare your hole where you're going to move it to, so it's all ready to go. Dig your rose up and move it to the new location. Maybe amend it with a little bit of a nice compost or a nice potting mix to mix into the soil that you've taken out of the hole. Get it moved to its new location. Water it with a root stimulator like Kangaroots or Fertilome root stimulator, and get that well watered in, and give it some time to do its thing. I think I'd go for it. It's definitely not too late.
Great, that sounds good.
Yeah, definitely not too late. So I just transplanted a couple trees at my house and got them well watered in with my Kangaroots, and it's about time to hit it again. So even though we're getting some storms this week, probably next week before the ground really freezes up, I will hit it with that root stimulator again. So it has a little bit of fertilizer and a little bit of activity happening in the root system for winter to help get that established before the ground really freezes. End of this month, 1st of December is when that'll happen. So.
Now, the potash and magnesium, can I mix that in with potting it, or should I just put it on the top?
Just put it on the top. Yeah, so when you get it transplanted and moved to its new location, use that root stimulator with it, and then add the potash, and it's a 1/4 cup of each. So the potash and the magnesium sulfate, just sprinkle that on the surface around, and you could do that before you watered it, and then it'll water it down into the soil as well too. So that will definitely help.
So now also, did you say that it's not too late to try to kill off some things you want to kill off?
It depends
weeds
on
or plants.
Yeah, it really depends on the weather. So if we get some 50-degree daytime temperatures still, then you would have some effectiveness with your spray. If it stays in the 30s and 40s, it's probably not going to do much. And so we need a little bit of warm weather. So kind of watch the weather after this storm system comes through and see what happens. But getting this moisture right now, I think, what are we supposed to get, Will? We're supposed to get like a quarter to a half inch of rain.
Over the next, yeah. In fact, this storm is supposed to bring some snow this weekend, but then a lot of rain for the first of next week. And so this week is not looking promising, but you know, I mean, there's been years past. We've been golfing into December.
Nice weather in Thanksgiving, but this moisture will be really, really helpful to get the soil saturated and get some nice soil moisture accumulated for the winter time. So it'll allow our trees and shrubs and plants to have the moisture that they'll need through the winter time. If we have a really cold winter and the snow just never melts, it just never penetrates down in the soil until much later in the season. So having that soil moisture is going to be really, really helpful for everybody's plants. So this is great.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Joan. Thanks for calling, and you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll look forward to seeing you next year.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
That opens up the phone lines at 753-5868, 1-800-369-5868. 5868, 753-KVNU or 1-800-369-KVNU. When it comes to trees, you mentioned you transplanted a few.
Yes.
Next couple of weeks would be a great time to also wrap those trunks, especially if they're a young, tender tree.
Absolutely. So many times I see damage on trees from the winter time, and it's not necessarily the cold itself, it's the freezing and the thawing of the sap inside the trees. And so what happens is, especially on the south or the west side of young trees that have a more tender, smooth bark to them, is during the wintertime, it gets cold enough that the sap freezes inside the tree, and that's fine. That's normal. But it's when we get really warm days in like, say, January or February, and then we get some real cold temperatures afterwards, that's when the sap very rapidly freezes and expands, and then thaws, and then contracts, and then expands again, and that expansion and contraction will split the bark open, and then you'll get this big long split, and then it disrupts the sap flow, so water and nutrient can't work its way up through the tree properly, and then you have parts of the tree that just die off. Yeah, and so by wrapping the tree, it doesn't stop the freezing and the thawing, but it slows it down so it doesn't happen as rapidly, and then you don't get the big splits in the bark. And so that reflective white fabric that you can wrap the trees with, it just keeps the sun from hitting that west or that south side of the tree and causing that splitting as the sap freezes and thaws and expands and contracts. And it makes a big difference, especially for like young fruit trees. If you've got peach trees or apple trees, maples. Maples tend to be really susceptible to it too.
I would say, having learned from experience, because we lost a tree that way, is, you know, if you've had a tree only in the ground for under 5 years, it's critical. Save yourself $5 for a small wrap.
Yeah, it's really inexpensive. Really inexpensive.
The life of the tree.
Very, very inexpensive, and it does really help. And if you've had a tree that's had some damage, use the same wrap, and to get that damage to heal over, you know, we'll put a little pruning sealer in where the wound is. We'll wrap it up, but then I'll leave the tree wrap for probably about 2 years, but I'll take it off about every 4 to 6 months. So if I wrap it up now in the spring, probably around St. Patrick's Day or so, I'll take that wrap off, inspect the wound, maybe treat it with a little bit more pruning sealer, and then wrap it back up, and then leave it wrapped for the summertime, but then take it off in the fall, retreat it again, wrap it back up, so that the tree can expand and not like get indented by the wrap. So if we leave the wrap on there, it'll gradually start to cut into the bark and could strangle the tree eventually if you just leave it on forever. And so we want to protect that wound, but take it off about every 4 to 6 months so that the bark can continue to expand and it won't bite into the tissue. So Yeah, so great options there.
Okay.
Yeah, great
well,
options.
we can take some more calls. We're going to be heading into the bottom of the hour. Before we do, though, want to mention for those that are just joining us, this is the final show for the season, as we'll be taking a little bit of a break before spring of next year. But
I'm getting my snowboard waxed.
Are you getting ready? Oh, it's going to be coming.
So Saturday mornings, Mark will be out somewhere else instead of doing the radio show. So that's all right.
Enjoying Mother Nature in a different way.
Yes, but the last show of the season, we've got some great deals going on at Anderson's. All of our remaining fall bulbs are 40% off. So tulips, daffodils. I don't think there's any hyacinths left. I got a few crocus. They're all 40% off. We do have some really great garlic still in stock. So if you want to plant garlic or if you want to just eat garlic, we have some amazing varieties still. I think I've got about 5 or 6 varieties left. We had 20, but we're down to about 5 or 6. But you can still plant it, and we're taking it home and eating it. So it's a great way to enjoy fall garlic, whether you're planting it or consuming it. And then fall wreaths are 50% off. So we've got some great looking, really attractive fall wreaths. You can decorate your house, put on your front door, and they are 50% off right now. And you can't miss all the holiday decor that we've got in the store. It's like the store is decked out. It's amazing.
It's a fun time of year. It just gets you into the Christmas spirit. In fact, coming up right after, we'll talk about the Christmas open house is going to be coming up.
Yes, that is coming up.
And we'll give you more details on the White Christmas. It's a chance for you to save on that purchase at Anderson Seed and Garden. You're joining us for the Garden Show here at 8:31 on this Saturday morning. With your KVNU News update, I'm Will Feelright. The news this hour is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Well, Election Day is Tuesday, and it's the final weekend. A reminder that ballots need to be postmarked by Monday, or you can also drop them off in person on Tuesday by 8 o'clock in one of the drop boxes or at the Cache County Clerk's office. Now, on the ballot is a chance to renew the RAPS tax, which stands for Recreation, Arts, Parks, and Zoos. During KVNU's For the People show Friday, Executive Director of the Cache Valley Center for the Arts, Wendy Hassan, talked about the importance of the arts in Cache Valley.
We had a secret shopper, a tourism secret shopper, come about 10 years ago, and he said that the most compelling thing for tourists were our arts and our parks. And I think that's not a mistake, since we've certainly been investing in that now for 20 years.
Hassan grew up along the Wasatch Front and said that she chose to live here because of the emphasis that Cache Valley has on the arts. Well, the days after that massive, fast-moving fire destroyed a house in West Jordan, investigators are still trying to figure out how it started. The fire began around Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock. The homeowner was inside and was able to get out safely, but the home was declared a total loss. With the amount of damage left behind, West Jordan Battalion Chief Clint Paxton said that investigators could take a while to figure out how the fire ignited. Paxton said in 24 years of fighting fires, he can't remember seeing a house fire as destructive as the one that happened on Thursday. Well, this stormy weather expected to continue, bringing with it a mix of rain and snow, with temperatures staying right around the mid-40s during the day, with overnight temperatures staying right around the low 30s as we head into the first of next week, when we'll continue to see rain and snow in the forecast for much of next week. And don't forget to set the clocks back. I'm Will Feelright for KVNU News.
From ABC Sports. Hi, everybody. I'm Todd Ent. A day after the Brooklyn Nets suspended him, Nike has announced they're cutting ties with guard Kyrie Irving. That includes the launch of his new shoe that was set to release soon. ESPN NBA reporter Nick Friedel said it's time for the Nets to move on.
Kyrie is an incredibly talented player. Offensively, he's one of the most gifted guards I've ever seen. But he marches to the beat of his own drum at a level in which I've also never seen. I think it is time. I think it's time for the divorce. It probably was time over the summer.
The Nets were on the road in Washington last night. In the fourth quarter, Nick Claxton extended Brooklyn's lead.
Right of the circle. Feeds Claxton rolling to the rim, and he lays it in again in one motion.
The call on WFAN. The Nets went up 32 on that layup, and they routed the Wizards 128-86. Kevin Durant was one rebound shy of a triple-double. This is ABC Sports.
Do you feel like you were home as you round the bend out of the canyon and see Cache Valley open before you? Do you love trails and outdoor recreation? Are the wildlife, rivers, and streams that sustain our valley important to you? Do you want your children and their children to enjoy the valley that you know? If you said yes to any of these, then say yes to Proposition 1. It is our last best chance to save our last best place.
Do you value Cache Valley's unique open areas and miles of untouched lands? You can help preserve it. Vote yes on Proposition 1 on November 8th. Brought to you by Bear River Land Conservancy Political Issues Committee. See us online at cacheopenspace.org.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. Our biggest sale of the year is today until 6 p.m. You've heard about it, so don't miss it. Black Friday pricing now. Plus, when you buy more, you save more. Up to a $500 instant rebate on select purchases. Wait, there's more. Triple dip in savings with an additional Daryl's exclusive mail-in rebate. Save up to $800 more on select purchases. It's today only until 6 p.m. Daryl's 52nd annual fall sale. Financing available. Come experience the Daryl's difference with our famous service team. Daryl's West on Airport Road.
The Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Welcome back to the show, 8:35 on this Saturday morning. We'll feel right, along with Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden for the final garden guide of the season.
Yes.
So we'll transition, enjoy some time during the holidays, and then be back in the spring. But as we finish off this final show, Mark, there's actually quite a bit that's going to be happening over the next few weeks at Anderson Seed and Garden.
There really is, especially on Center Street. So we've got our holiday open house coming up in 2 weeks, which is crazy to believe that it's that close. 2 weeks, we'll have our holiday open house, and we'll have some great deals on Christmas trees and wreaths and garlands and ornaments and decorations and lights and all kinds of fun stuff. And if you haven't been in the store for the holiday season, you have to come in this year. The store is it is amazing. It looks so great right now. It's like fully decorated for the holidays, and it just will get you in the holiday spirit. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
You can't avoid it.
It's so much fun this time of year. It is, for me, it's reminiscent of the days when I was a kid and we would go to downtown Salt Lake and you'd go see the window displays.
Yes, at ZCMI. Yeah, you'd always go see what they did. They'd cover up the windows, then all of a sudden the displays would come out. So we've got some really cute displays in front of Anderson's as well too. So got to come check those out. We've got our red truck's going to go out next week, and the train set up in the greenhouse, so we got some great photo opportunities. Of course, Santa's going to be showing up as well too in the next couple weeks. But the open house is really a fun time of year to kind of kick off the holiday season, and you just got to stop in and see what we've got going on at Anderson's, because the pictures just don't do it justice.
No. And if you're looking for a fun way to maybe change up a Christmas tree in your home, maybe change some decorations, that's the what I love more than anything is some of the ideas that you guys come up with for decorating Christmas trees.
Yeah.
Are not only beautiful, but some of them are hilarious.
Got some great creative thoughts going on at Anderson's, and we've got some outstanding displays this year. I mean, my favorite is the bell tree that we've got right in the front. And if you haven't seen the bell tree, there's some bells on there that are 24 to 30 inches across, and the tree's just it's stunning. We've got people walking along the sidewalk that'll just stop and just stare at the tree in the window. Yeah, because it looks so amazing. So, but the other thing we've got going on is, of course, right after Thanksgiving, is we've got the Christmas parade going on Center Street too. Yeah. So Santa will be there, and we'll be doing the lighting ceremony, and so it's a great time to come downtown. Small Business Saturday, so it's going to be the 26th of November, and we'll have a lot of great things going on there on Center Street. We've been even talking about doing some really fun things out on the sidewalk. So we've got maybe a couple surprises in store. So we'll see what happens. I think we're getting our I's dotted and our T's crossed and getting things kind of figured out. But we might have a surprise for the Saturday after Thanksgiving there on Center Street. So that should be pretty fun.
Very cool. So in addition to that, too, as we were mentioning last break, the White Christmas promotion is happening.
White Christmas promotion is if you come in between now and Thanksgiving, and we've got, I think, 50 spots available. If you spend $500 or more, we will enter you into our White Christmas giveaway. And with the White Christmas giveaway, if it snows 4 inches or more on Christmas Day at Anderson's, you will get your purchase refunded.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the first 50 customers that spend $500 or more up to $40,000. So last year, I think we got all 50 slots filled, and we were still within our limits, and so we were good to go. But there have been other years where we only were able to get 30 or 40 people signed up before we went over our 40,000. So the first 50 people that buy $500 or more of Christmas decor at Anderson's, whether it's a Christmas tree or lights for your house or whatever it is, we'll enter you into our White Christmas giveaway. We'll give you a card with instructions and rules and everything on there. And if we get that 4 inches of snow on Christmas Day, we'll be giving away $40,000 worth of decor
to a lot of happy customers.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
I have 50 really happy customers.
Yeah.
So we've been praying and rooting for snow the last couple of years, but we just haven't had it. So maybe this is our year.
And you brought up a good point. If you're maybe someone and thinking, maybe this is the year I want to decorate the house in Christmas lights.
Yeah.
We've talked about over the years how Christmas lights, especially in the last couple of years, have completely changed.
Oh, yes.
And have become so much easier.
So much easier, yeah. I had somebody in the other day, and we kind of helped them configure their house, and they ended up putting like 400 lights on their house, C7s. And if we were doing incandescent lights, not only do they break, but they would have had to like put in a different power service to be able to run those lights. And now we can run 400, 500, 600, 800, 1,000 lights on one plug.
Yeah.
I mean, it just uses such a small amount of electricity. It's really amazing how we can set those up now.
And the days when we would have these long strands of lights, and then you'd get to the end of the eve, and you think, okay, what do I do with all the rest of these lights? And you're trying to stash them up under the eve. All of that's gone.
Yeah,
now.
we can take care of that. So it's like custom cut right to your house, so it'll like fit your lengths of your eaves or your pitches on your house just perfectly, and very, very, very easy to set up. And the great thing about the LED lights is if you happen to drop the string of lights off the house and it bounces on the concrete, not every single bulb will break.
Yeah.
And it's like, in fact, no bulbs will break. They just bounce. And so they are much more durable. They'll last a lot longer. Energy consumption is a fraction of what you had before, and you really don't have to worry about it sucking all the power out of your house to the point where it pops all your breakers.
And it's not a danger or anything like that,
no.
we had, of those hot bulbs back in the day. And plus, also, what impresses me is how you can change the colors.
Yes.
That's the best part.
Yeah, so with the Lightstream lights, they will link up to an app on your phone, and you can actually change the colors. So last week I had Halloween colors on my house.
For trick-or-treating?
Yeah, so we had purple and orange and kind of a gold color. And now, since we're after Halloween, but we're kind of still fall, I've got fall colors out there. So I've got orange and gold and kind of a warm white. So it's kind of a Thanksgiving combination. Mm-hmm. And then after we do Thanksgiving, then I'll just change the colors up, and we'll have red and green. And if we do like a traditional multicolor, we'll have red and green and blue and gold and clear, and it'll look awesome. Yeah. So very easy to change. You just have a controller that links up to your phone, and then the controller tells the bulbs all what colors to change. Yeah, it's really cool. And these aren't like the strips that you install underneath your eaves. These still look like traditional Christmas, holiday lights.
Yeah, to look at them from a distance, you can't tell the difference.
No. And so we'll leave ours up, and we'll do red and pink and white for Valentine's Day, and we'll do green and lime green and clear for St. Patrick's Day, and then there's a whole bunch of pastel colors as well too. So I actually the Easter lights are my favorite. They are so cute because you've got pink and blue and green and purple and yellow. I mean, so we can do like all these pastel colors that are just very Easter looking, and so those are probably my favorite ones. Yeah, so they're really cool. Each bulb will create, I think, 22 different colors.
Wow,
Yeah.
and all of that can be controlled right on an app
Right on your
phone.
Yeah, right on your phone. So it's pretty cool. I've got samples at the store if you want to come in and take a look at it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. So we've got some really fun things going on for the next month and a half, before Christmas. Some fun things. And honestly, if you've never been into the store during the holidays, you've got to grab your kids or your grandkids and just come in.
Yeah.
It's a tradition for so many people in Cache Valley and even out of Cache Valley just to come to Anderson's and see what we've done each year. We've got 25 fully decorated themed Christmas trees. We almost have our scavenger hunt all set up. So we've got a scavenger hunt set up that you can come and do at the store.
Through the store,
yeah,
with
yeah,
the different
yeah.
trees
Yeah, with the
and
trees and
decorations.
trying to find different things, and we've got it all set up. So it'll be a lot of fun to do the scavenger hunt as well too. So we should have that ready to go by next week as well too.
Okay.
So yeah, should be a grand time this year at Anderson's. So.
Now, one thing we haven't talked about, are you looking to do the calendar again?
Our calendar should be ready, hopefully, right around Thanksgiving.
Okay. So
we've had some delays with some of our photographs this year, and so it's kind of slowed things down a little bit, but we should have our calendars ready before the end of this month. Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely.
And that's always a great resource,
Yeah.
especially for gardeners who are just wanting that extra reminder that, hey, this is a good time to apply fertilizer.
Just tells you what to do on the calendar for the entire season. So it really starts in January, and in January it'll say, okay, now's the time to start pansies and geraniums and petunias indoors to have them ready to go outside, in May. Or now's the time to start your, we'll have like timing on there for basically all your vegetables and when to start them indoors so you can transplant them out. I think in January we've got start your onions and your broccoli and your cabbage and your cauliflower so that by St. Patrick's your plants will be ready to go outside. Yeah.
transplant.
And then in February we're reminding everybody to come get their seeds and what you can grow indoors and what you can have ready to transplant out. And then it's got all of our events on there for the entire season, whether it's our bare root tree sale or whether it's our Mad Money sale that happens in July or open house for Christmas. I mean, there's events all year long that are in the calendar, but it just reminds you when to watch for grasshoppers and when to spray for certain diseases like fire blight and when to start your seeds indoors, when to plant outside, when to fertilize your lawn. I mean, it's got all that information in there for specific for our area so that you'll be on top of your garden for next year.
Okay,
Yeah.
so be looking for that to come out around Thanksgiving time.
Yeah.
Great resource, and it's free. You just got to stop by and pick up a copy at Anderson Seed and
I
Garden.
think last year we gave out about 2,300 copies of our calendar. So
Not to mention they're filled with a bunch of beautiful pictures from around Cache Valley.
Yeah, we've got gorgeous photos this year, just like every year. We always have great photos. So excited to see the calendar come out, and we should have it here, probably in about 3 weeks. We'll have it ready to go.
All right. Well, we have just a few more minutes. We can take some final calls about how to prep your garden for winter, how to prep those fruit trees. If you haven't sprayed those fruit trees, if we can get some warmer weather, if these storms will move out, still time to be able to treat those fruit trees.
So blister mites and for a bunch of diseases, so it can prevent diseases and insects from wintering over and causing problems for next year. So dormant oil with either copper soap or complete disease control or Fungify. We've got a new fungicide from Fertilome. It's all organic and very, very effective. So excited for that one. And F-Stop. Any of those would be great to mix in with your dormant oil and control those insects. And all you need is about a half an hour to 60 minutes for it to dry in between when you make the application and rain. So if you can get a little break in the storms and you can get out there and get it sprayed, as long as it has enough time to dry, you're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, good to go.
All right, back out to the phone lines. We have Charles joining us on the line from Hyde Park. Charles, welcome to the show.
Thank you. My question today is I'm still doing my Canadian choke cherry trees. All these whips that are growing, I'm a little confused on pruning. Do I cut the whips 25% or do I cut them back to where they began and thin them out, or what would I do with
So are they the water sprouts that are just shooting straight up off the tree, or have you got suckers coming up next to the ground?
No, I took care of the suckers.
Okay.
The ones that are, the general tree itself has, I would say the last half of the tree, there's quite a few 8-foot and 6-foot, I call them whips.
Yeah.
It may be just the tree itself, but I don't know whether you would take 25-30% off of those, or just go right down to where they began and take them off.
Take them off completely. Yeah. So
Right where
those
they began.
Yeah, those water sprouts that shoot straight up, and they can get pretty tall in one season. You want to cut those right back to the branch and get rid of them, because it's not going to be productive growth. It's going to be unproductive wood. It'll just drain strength from the tree. So all those water sprouts should be eliminated right back to the branch that they're coming off of. And don't include, I mean, usually I don't include that in the 20 to 30% that I'm going to prune, but sometimes it's just so many water sprouts, you just end up taking up so much off the tree, then your other pruning can be decreased a little bit as well.
Okay, good. I also was in the other day, and I saw the giant bell tree with the giant.
Yes.
That is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, I wonder if it would survive outdoors. I'd love to put that outside in my planter. I'm on a corner.
Yes.
And I put that planter where those sweet potato vines were, and it's so empty. That'd be such a cool place to put it.
Yep.
Oh, my other question is, I want to wrap these cherry trees with Christmas tree lights, and how do they do that, where they seem to go off to one branch, or they work back down the branch and then up to the other? Or is there some special lights we can buy from you, or what is there?
We have LED lights that have 4-inch spacing on them, and they're great for wrapping trees with. And I've talked to the crews that do the lights for Logan City, and they actually will wrap up the trunk, and then like kind of where the branches start off, they'll kind of stop at that location, and then they'll put kind of a splitter there, and then they can do individual light strands kind of up each branch. And so it's really interesting how they do it, and I thought this was a great idea. So they'll run a light set up the trunk, so it kind of wraps the trunk. But then from there, they'll just use like a 50 or 100 light set, and they'll just go all the way out to the end of the branch and not have to wrap all the way back. And so it's really pretty creative how they do that. So Charles, you're welcome to come in the store. I'll be glad to show you how to make that work, because the lights will link together. And so you could make that happen. Otherwise, you could just like kind of run an extension cord up, and then just have a 3 outlet there, and just plug into that and just go off of that as well too. So, but
gotcha.
Pretty creative.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're so welcome. Thanks for calling, Charles. And you could do the bell tree outside. Most of the Christmas trees are like weatherproof, so they'd be good to do outside, except for the flocked trees. So that tree is flocked. I would never put that outside. It would be good for about 24 hours, and then it would be toast.
After a good rain and snowstorm,
it would not be good, but.
It'd be quite heavy.
It would be really heavy. Yeah, it would be a disaster. So thank you so much for calling, Charles. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right, we'll see you.
All right, back out to the phone lines. We have Christine joining us on the line from Smithfield. Christine, welcome to the show.
Thank you. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
I can't remember if it was last fall or the year before. You gave me a couple things to put on my garden after we got all done. One, I had maybe like dents or something on my potatoes, and then I think the other was like grass. Does that make sense?
The indentations on your potatoes probably were scab. Sulfur really helps. So the sulfur helps a ton. In fact, I did sulfur right in the rows with my potatoes when I planted this year.
You did it with it.
Yeah, and I had much less scab than what we've had previously in the past. So that really, really helps. So sulfur.
So is this something that'll be in your book? Tell you?
It does have a lot of those amendments in there. Yes, absolutely. And What I like to put on the garden in the fall as I'm prepping it, so other than leaves and grass clippings and compost and wood shavings and straw is really good, and compost from the landfill, and poultry manure from the neighbor down the street who's got a chicken coop, and you can do a lot of different things. Use a variety of materials, but then when I get ready to till it all in, I put ammonium sulfate on there, which has some nitrogen and some sulfur in there. So ammonium sulfate is great for working into the garden. You need that nitrogen source to help break all that stuff down. And then add some humate. So the humate will really, really help speed up the decomposition process. It puts a lot of minerals and micronutrients back into the soil that you will have depleted, growing plants out there all season. And then it will help speed up that decomposition of all that organic matter you put out there. So the combination of the humate with the ammonium sulfate and all the organic matter is just like perfect for fall.
So what was the grass?
Well, you can put grass clippings out there. It's like I put grass clippings out on my lawn, not on my lawn, on my garden, and mow the leaves all up with it and spread that all over the garden. And then we've added straw in the past, and last year we put a whole bunch of compost on, and wood shavings are great. There's just a lot of different materials you can add to your soil, and then do the ammonium sulfate, do the humate, and then till it all in.
I think you gave me some kind of wheat.
You could do.
It's a seed.
Yeah, you could do a cover crop, but it's a little bit late at this point.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a little bit late. So buckwheat, clover, winter rye, annual rye. There's a lot of different amendments we could put out there. Vetch, they all work great, but you probably would have planted that 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, I still got to go dig my potatoes.
Yeah,
they were late.
Yep, get them up.
Yeah, especially with this rain coming in, you don't want them to start rotting.
Yep, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So. All right,
Oh,
Christine.
my strawberries use straw too.
You can definitely mulch the strawberries with straw. You can use other products as well too. The straw brings a lot of weeds in, so just be aware of that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I usually use my leaves and then just let them put humate on them and let them compost in.
Yep. You got it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling this morning, Christine. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. We probably have time for maybe one more call.
Squeeze one more call in. Talk a little bit about what's going to be happening during the off season as we finish off the season here on the Garden Guide as we transition to the holidays, and a lot of great things that are going to be happening over the next few weeks. Also, we want to mention too, happening right now, you mentioned fall bulbs are on sale.
Yes,
and it's still time. You can get the bulbs.
So all of our tulips and daffodils that we have left, I don't think there's any hyacinths left, maybe a few crocus. They're all 40% off, and the ground hasn't frozen. Great time to get those planted. Get them in the ground so you can enjoy them for next year. In fact, I think I'm going to go plant some. I got a crate of miniature daffodils left. I think I'm going to plant them this week at my house. Maybe they'll disappear off the floor, off the sales floor today. Fall wreaths are 50% off. Amaryllis bulbs are all in. Amaryllis look amazing this year. I've got some that are so big I can't get my hands all the way around the bulbs.
Volleyball size.
They are huge, just absolutely huge. And the bigger the bulb, the more flowers you're going to get. And so we've got some beautiful new varieties. I've got a couple more coming next week. Come in and get your amaryllis bulbs because they disappear so fast. Last year we ran out 2 weeks before Christmas. So we didn't even make it to Christmas. We ran out 2 weeks before Christmas. So come get your amaryllis bulbs. I've got every color imaginable except for blue. Can't get amaryllis and blue. But the bulbs look amazing. I've got the largest bulbs we can find anywhere. So the bigger the bulb, the bigger the flowers, the more flowers you get. And so we've got a great selection of amaryllis bulbs right now. Just the bulbs, or if you want them potted, we can pot them up as well too. So you can just take them home and enjoy them for the holiday season. So great time to come in and see what's happening at Anderson's. Not only do we have our White Christmas giveaway going on right now, but our Christmas open house coming up in 2 weeks as well too. And like you said, calendar should be ready right around Thanksgiving.
And fall wreaths you mentioned that are on sale.
Yeah. So fall wreaths, you could decorate your front door or somewhere in your house right now with some gorgeous fall wreaths. They are half price right now as well too. So a lot of fun things happen at Anderson's. You have to just come see. Like Charles said, the bell tree is unbelievable. unbelievable. Yeah, it is. It's unbelievable. It's really cool. We had to do it in sections because it would. It's like so heavy it would pull the tree over one way, and so we had to balance it.
Kind of balance
as we added bells on, we'd have to add from both sides because it would just pull the tree over. But it's amazing. It's 9 feet tall. I wanted to do the 12 foot, but it was just a little bit too big. But the tree is super, super cool. You just got to stop in and see it. And then we'll have some great photo opportunities either with the train or with Santa later on this month, or we'll have our awesome, cool red truck out in front of the store probably next week as well too. That we'll have some photo ops for people to take care of, and don't forget the parade is right the Saturday after Thanksgiving on Small Business Saturday. Come down and support small businesses in downtown Logan, and we will probably have a surprise out on the sidewalk
for the parade.
For the parade, well, after the parade, yeah, and believe me, it will be very nostalgic, and it will be very delicious well too. Yeah, nostalgic and delicious. Those are the words that you need to remember. So,
Mark, thank you so much for a great season, and we'll see you next season for the Garden Guide.
Thank you so much, Will. We'll see you next year.
As our world changes, we'll keep you up to date. News Talk KV.